Every week I see multiple posts on the Victorinox subreddit asking for help identifying a particular Victorinox Swiss Army knife model. And most of the time it includes a picture that looks about like this. Now, as you can tell, there is no way to identify a particular model without seeing the tools inside. Additionally, I wanted to introduce you, if you are unfamiliar, with a crazy valuable resource at SAKWiki.com, SAKWiki. And this is a huge conglomeration of an amazing abundance of information about Swiss Army knives with some really strange ads. If we want to identify a model like this, for instance, the first thing we're going to do is go into the Victorinox knife list, because this is a Victorinox knife. There are, do I have any Wengers here? I do have one. Those can be identified by the type of cross. Now, Wenger was purchased by Victorinox at some point, and so you'll sometimes see certain Wenger models that have the Victorinox style cross, but those, I believe, should still be listed here. Yes, they are. Under the Victorinox knife list. They'll be over here in the Delamont models. And if you need to know where to go next, the quickest thing you can do is identify the size of tool you have. Now, I've got a video on all the different sizes, but just to recap, if you measure the tool from end to end in metric, you'll get the approximate size. Now, this is 90.64. That's going to be a 91 millimeter model. You can see the full list here, ranging from 111 to 58 millimeters, and some larger on the Delamont size. So what we're going to do is jump right into that 91 millimeter size. And this is going to give us a very big list. Here's the list of different Victorinox tools at that size, as well as a Bruce Willis mask if you are interested. We're going to scroll all the way down here to the bottom and look at the family tree. Now, this image is so helpful. It's really hard to beat. Now, you've got this key down here, and these are gonna correspond to different tools that are included in the tool. Now, it's not going to include the knife blade necessarily, or the can opener, bottle opener. Those are pretty standard, but it will include the large tools that are relevant in identifying the model that you have. So let's take this tool for example. I do know what this is, but I'm not going to tell you just yet. If we look at this top row, you're going to see three different options. The first one here on the right, we're going to go right to left just because, is going to be that Phillips driver, which is what we have on the back of the tool rather than the corkscrew, which is this model here. And over here is the compact, and that's going to indicate scissors. It's kind of a one-off. It's not attached to anything else, but that's the Victorinox compact. Now we're going to be over here in this right-hand section here, so let's zoom in on that. Up at top, you're going to see the Tinker, and that would be a decent bet, except this tool, if we open up the top layer, we're going to see scissors and pliers, as in addition to the blade layer and the opener layer, the can opener and the bottle opener. So these are the two tools we're going to be looking for here. So if we start looking through this, we can see here we've got the Phillips driver. All of these have the Phillips driver because they're descended from the Tinker. And then you're going to see a couple of different options here. Well, here you've got the Phillips driver and scissors. That would be a Super Tinker. Over here, you go a different route, and instead of scissors, you add a saw. And now you can see ours has the scissors. So we're going to look at the Super Tinker. And I'm just trying to break this down as much as possible to help you guys out who are struggling to identify your Swiss Army knives. If we look there, we're going to see the pliers icon here. So I think we have, I think we have a deluxe Tinker, and we can confirm that it has the Phillips driver, it has the scissors, and it has the pliers. And if we look at the other two, the Fisherman and the Fieldmaster, we do not have the fish scaler or the saw. So that is a pretty darn good bet that this is going to be a Victorinox Deluxe Tinker, and that is indeed what this is. That is how you can very, very quickly identify a multi-tool or a Swiss Army knife. And if we go back one page to the list of 91mm models, we can come down here to the Deluxe Tinker in the list. Let's click into that. And here we can see a picture of our tool, or of a tool. And that does match up with what we have. We've got the awl and the parcel hook as well on the back. And this will give you history. It'll give you variations. So sometimes you have a model that is slightly different. Let me pull an example of that out here. And we can see that. But there's all sorts of information about that model on this page. Now, I'm going to link to the SAKWiki down below, and I encourage you guys to check that out and donate if you have not. They are a super valuable resource, and I get the impression it is a small group that is dedicated to keeping this site up and running. If we go over to this model, which is, as you can see, a very old model, we even have the brass rivets exposed on the outer scale. And I have identified this. This is 89.9 millimeters. I think that's going to put it in the 91mm category. If we look at the tool set, again, scrolling back down to that family tree here, this tool has an awl on the back, corkscrew on the back, and it's a 3-layer tool with the blade, the can opener, and a saw. So we're looking for a tool with just the saw here and a can opener. Now this, again, is the can opener icon, so it looks like it's going to be descended from a Spartan. And here is the can opener and saw option under the camper. Now I would not, let's pull up the camper and I'll show you what a camper typically looks like. That is going to be your typical Victorinox camper. Same tool set, but I obviously must have a much older model. So by using this information and the additional information below, I was able to come down here and find an early version of the camper can be seen in this 1940s catalog as model 237. And I may have just shown you, but if you click that link, look at this beautiful old catalog. And if we scroll through, we're going to look for model 237. This is from the 1940s and just an absolutely excellent example of how these were sold in the past. So I love the history available here. Let's look at that model 237. It's the second one from the left, and that does look quite a lot like our knife. If we compare it, the saw blade kind of matches the silhouette of this older style saw blade. It does have the small notch, can you see that, for the bottle opener. It's also going to have that older style bottle opener. If we compare that to a modern bottle opener, oops, that's the can opener, you're going to see that it's a little bit more tapered. It comes, the angles here and here, if you can see that, are a little bit more tapered, just a little bit different style, and that is indicative of what we see here on, excuse me, the model 237. So that's an invaluable resource. I was able to identify this very old model as well as a modern model. Yeah, so there's another kind of example that's perhaps worth looking at. I've got here two discontinued but very, very similar Victorinox knives. They both have a large and small blade. They are both single layer tools. They're in the slim, is it the slim 84 millimeter? We can check that. Yes, 81. Oh, wait, I think I'm measuring from the wrong part. Nope, 82. So just from edge to edge. Did I say 82? 84. 84 millimeter slim, as opposed to, here's a standard 84 millimeter, same length, but you can see why they call that the 84 slim. Let's pull open that page and see what we can find. So I'm just going to jump back a couple of pages back to the Victorinox knife list and jump into the 84 millimeter tools. And we're going to see the narrower, more pointed frames or the wider rounded frames. So I would refer to these as the slim. And there's not too many in this size. So here we've got the Secretary, which is 2 blades, no KR, I don't know what, no keyring, and smooth Alox scales. And that kind of makes me think that that would be this. And if we look at that picture, yeah, this is a red version of the Secretary, if I'm not mistaken. Did I identify that as? I sure did. That is, and there is a picture of the exact model that we have, the red Alox Victorinox Secretary. But then this green one doesn't seem to match, and that's because the addition of, or the change to, the Celador scales, the kind of plasticky style scales, makes this a pocket pal. You can see here 2 blades, no keyring, and Celador scales. So you can very quickly identify models like this as well. Here's a red version. I happen to have it in green. So that is kind of a quick introduction to SAKWiki.com. Big fan of this site. I'm going to be, I reached out to them and see if there's anything we can do to help support the site. So hopefully we can get something going in the near future. But in the meantime, check them out. Use them to find out what Victorinox models you have, or Wenger models. It'd be the same process for Wenger models. And that is all I have for you today. I appreciate you watching. Check out SAKWiki.com.